This is Hornet from Germany. Forgive me, I'm not familiar with how to use its pronouns. So could you take a moment to educate me on that? You want to talk about internalized shame for
Of
sex
course.
drive?
Yes. First of all, about my pronouns, they are just used like you would, for example, address an animal. But I'm not an animal. It's just how I use them personally because I feel most comfortable with those.
Of course,
I used to go by they, them, but I don't anymore.
Okay.
Fair enough. Yeah, we appreciate it. What's on your mind tonight?
All right. I have never called into the show before, so forgive me if I'm a bit nervous. I have very severe anxiety, but I'm trying to work on that. What I'm calling in for is I have been struggling for years with internalized guilt and shame for not only my sexuality, but generally my sexual drive. And even on an objective level, I know I don't have to feel ashamed of that. I worry that I'm somehow dirty or I don't know, shameful for example, masturbating. It makes me feel extremely bad and dirty, and I also get dysphoria, but that's just part of it. It's mostly just the shame about it, and I don't know how to deal with it and overcome that, I guess. And I wanted to ask if you had any advice on how to do that.
Yeah, well, I am so glad that you gave us a call. Honestly, I think that the question that you're asking is why this show exists. I mean, I don't want to be overly reductionist about it, but I think that simple question is what led to the book, that led to the podcast, that led to the YouTube show that you're now watching. So with all of that effort, I don't know that I can distill it all into one specific answer, but I would say in a lot of ways, you're doing it by simply acknowledging that shame, not denying that it exists, but actually confronting it, by becoming more comfortable talking about these things. Even if this conversation is a little bit stressful and it's a little bit challenging or it makes you nervous to pick up the phone, you did it. You know, when I first started to sort of deconstruct my faith and to explore my sexuality, I was incredibly uncomfortable listening to shows like Secular Sexuality. And it was honestly listening to so many of those podcasts that helped me to let go of a lot of that shame. And it was what made me so passionate about being a part of this project. So it's all to say that it's okay that you still experience a lot of those emotions, and there's no magical fix for any of it. You know, for myself, one of the most powerful tools was the constant exposure of listening to shows like this. And so I would encourage you to listen to this show, but any show really about sexuality. And if it makes you feel a little squiggy, if it makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, it's okay to listen to your body. It's okay to push pause. It's okay to turn it off. It's okay to walk away from it. But just know that the more you normalize those experiences, the more that shame is going to start to drip away. On top of that, working with a therapist in order to deconstruct some of these things, exploring your own sexuality, I might recommend books like Sexual Intelligence by Marty Klein or Come As We Are by Emily Nagoski. The audiobook of Come As You Are is just a fantastic way to become a little bit more comfortable with your sexuality and to let go some of that shame. But also know that this is a lifelong journey and that no one is judging you by the results. It's okay to feel a little bit of shame. It's not what we want for you. It's not a comfortable experience. But I also want you to know that it's not a sign that you're doing a bad job. It's just a sign that this is a very hard thing. And it's okay to struggle with it from time to time. What would the two of y'all add to any of that?
Oh, we're supposed to follow you after that?
Yeah, I know.
That amazing thing that you just said.
This is like the fundamental question of this show. Yeah.
No. I will say this: no one in the universe knows more about shame surrounding sex, and especially masturbation, than a Mormon boy. So I'm with you. I feel your pain. I get it. And I will say that, like, I think going off of what Christy said, there's something very real about just looking it in the face. And for me, what it was, a lot of it was just having to push through the shame, knowing at least intellectually that the shame was wrong, that the shame was incorrect, and that my feelings were fine, regardless of how the masturbating was totally okay, even though everything in my body said that I should feel awful about it, because I had been trained since I was 0 that I should feel awful about all of my sexual feelings until I'm married. And then, we talked in the last conversation about flipping a switch. Like, that's an amazing thing that you're supposed to be able to do, which is like, sex is bad until it's good. And then it's fine, but just with that person. But the more I thought about it, the more I refused to give in to that stupid upbringing, and the more I confronted it, and in my mind assaulted it, called it stupid. Like, of course it's stupid to think that you can't masturbate. Of course it is. I know that, but I had to keep confronting it. And doing the things doesn't hurt either. Like, actually masturbating can be pretty awesome, and as long as you're not traumatizing yourself in the process.
Sure.
Like, I think that, like, just doing it with a defiance, you know what I mean? Like, I had to defy this upbringing and say, no, you know what? Fuck you. This is my body. This is my sexuality. I own it. You can't tell me what to do, Mormon church, or, insert whoever it is in your life that told you how you were supposed to sex.
Yeah, luckily I'm not in the boat that I have been raised religiously. My mom was like my grandma. Basically, I don't know the English word for the thing where you introduce your child to the faith officially. But my mom was made that for Catholicism, and but my mom herself always said that she wants us to grow up and choose for ourselves whether we want to be religious or not, and what kind of faith we want to belong to. For me, none of them ever rang true. Well, for me, the what's it called? The problematic influence is more like society as a whole, and because I'm assigned female at birth, of course, most keep being transcribed these ideas of what a female person should be, look, and act like. And that, I think, is really bad for me, because I, for one, am not a female. And secondly, it's so unbelievably hard to get over this indoctrination now, especially with how because I'm also a lesbian, which makes it even worse in that department. I try
be
so
gentle
hard
with
to get
yourself.
over it, and
Be kind.
I mean, you're doing the
you.
right things. You're internalizing. You're going through the thought process. You're going through the deconstruction. You're having conversations like this with people who are safe to have it with, and you're exposing yourself to people who are, who aren't going to pressure you into try to be something other than what you want for yourself. I mean, so you're on the right track. Again, like Dan. See, I have to follow Christy and Dan and try to come up with something meaningful to say, right? But other than commiserate about the fact that when I joined the Mormon Church when I was the ripe, horny age of 18, I'm right there with you, because I thought like, okay, now that I am with God, I'm just not going to have a sex drive. It's just that's how this works. But no, it's not how it works. And I had, well, what turned out to be like a completely typical sex drive for an 18-year-old male. So like there was nothing to be ashamed about, but there was something out there that was saying I should be ashamed of it. And religion can do that, but as you pointed out, social pressures can do that too, where they say that this is the sex drive that you're supposed to have, and then it makes you feel out of place because you have something that's a little different. Not that there's anything wrong with it, just that it's not what you're hearing is what you're supposed to be. So you're doing the right thing and exposing yourself to a new community, and I'm glad to be part of that. And thank you for opening up to us and letting us be part of it.
Yeah, Hornet, we're running a little bit long, so I want to let you go since these are really big questions. But I guess I just want to stress to you that if you are not feeling pain, if you are not experiencing like unwanted sensation, then you are totally normal. That all of our sexualities are really just the same basic structures in slightly different order. We're all made out of the same stuff, and that your sexuality, as strange or weird or confusing as it may seem from time to time, is perfectly normal, perfectly beautiful, and perfectly okay. So I really am excited for you to connect with that and to continue to explore these things. And I really appreciate you reaching out to us.
Thank you very much, Hornet.
Yeah, I'm already following shows like yours and Mama Dr. Jones and Sex Positive Gaming and stuff like that, and I'm gonna try my best to take what you said to heart. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you very
Absolutely.
much. Have a
Good
good
luck.
night.